Welcome back to Hushed, guys. I'm all by myself for this episode, and honestly, I'm really nervous. But I wanted to just have a nice one-to-one girly chat, sit down, and just a little bit of Shan advice, even though I'm probably not the best to give advice. And just take everything that I say literally with a pinch of salt, and everything that I do say is off the record. But yeah, just think of this as like an entry into my diary that you've been exposed to. I've got a little drink. I don't know what this is. It's like my little bottega that I've got there. So grab a cup of tea, grab a margarita, which is my favourite, grab a wine, or just if you're driving and listening to this, I hope I don't distract you. But I think I just wanted to sit down and talk about kind of all things like anxiety. I have a lot of you guys asking me a lot about like self-confidence and things like that. And I honestly really don't have a lot of answers for you, but I just want to share like my little journey, where I'm at now, and I honestly feel rubbish into the start of a new year, and that's me just being completely honest. I think I look on my socials, I look around me, even like with some of my friends, they come into the new year with like such a really good mindset, and I don't seem to have it. And we all kind of know that the new season of the show is on. I can't even be bothered saying its name. And I think that brings up a lot of anxiety for me. And like, if I go back to my life before the show, I was like this happy-go-lucky girl. Like, I had such a great, amazing group of friends, or what I thought was amazing group of friends around me. And you know when like people say don't fix something that's not broken, I feel like that is the advice that I wish I could go back and give myself. Like, I'm so grateful for everything that the show has brought me, like a new audience, all of that good stuff. And I think one of the things that I hate is just kind of always having to justify myself, even though I shouldn't have to. And like always having to express gratitude. Like, I'm always grateful and I'll always be grateful for the platform that it gave me. But, you know, my life before wasn't so bad either. And I thought I had my shit together. I was independent. I had my own flat in London. I was vibing. I earned great money. And I also had a little bit of a following before the show as well. I think I had about 150,000. So looking back, did I really need it? No. And I get a lot of comments from a lot of people that don't know me, so I don't really take them that personally. But it's like, oh, Love Island made you. And it's like, well, it really didn't. It kind of almost broke me. If I'm being completely honest. This is just my experience and I just want to share it with you, like one-to-one. And, even though I was on the show for such a short amount of time, I don't think we need to reiterate how short. The casting process was literally 18 months. So I spent a lot of my time prepping for the show. I knew about it before COVID, and then COVID hit and it got pushed back. So it was a long time. And then when I came out of the show, like, it was such a negative time for me because I felt like I'd let my family down. I felt like I'd let myself down. I was so embarrassed, like so embarrassed. I still am. But I'm also proud of myself because I feel like when I came off the show, I did handle it really well. And I had to contractually do all of the interviews and put a smile on my face and act like everything was all right. And I think that when it came to the reunion and I snapped on my story, that was just a build up because I'm only human. So I think if I could give anyone advice, not that anyone's asking for it, I think if you never know in life until you try. And I'm not mad that I tried, but like I said earlier, honestly, just don't try and fix something that's not broken. And I don't wish I could go back. Everything happens for a reason, but I think it came with a lot of baggage that I'm still trying to process. You invite loads of these foreign things into your life that you just have no idea why they're there, especially because of my time on the show was so short. But I think now I'm this little anxious girl and I'm trying to deal with it. And if you suffer with anxiety, you know what it's like. And I feel like it's a term that's thrown about a lot. But it really does hit home for me because I noticed like patterns in my behavior changing. Like for me, I came into 2023 like feeling really rubbish and putting so much pressure on myself. If I go back, I used to work out every single day. Like I used to go to CrossFit. I used to eat good. I used to take my dogs on walks every morning, work out. Just like really great routine. And now I like sleep in. I don't work out. And I feel like I've just completely changed, and I feel like I'm still coming out of, like, I'm still trying to figure out what I want. And I feel like my life's a big conflict sometimes. I don't know if any of you are Cancerian listening, but I'm a Cancer, but I'm Sag, Moon and Rising. And talk about a conflict. Like, I feel like my life is so conflicting, and like what happened with the show was conflicting. After it, I don't feel like I really like seized the opportunities that it gave me, because I was so embarrassed and like tried to brush it off and still do what I was contractually meant to do. I just fell into like party mode, and like I was just living it up, partying. And hindsight's a great thing, but I'm constantly in conflict, and I live away from my family. Like, I'm such a Scottish gal. And I lived in London before the show, but now I'm in constant conflict, because it's like my heart's in Scotland, but my head's here. And again, if any of you live away from your family, you know how hard it is, like not having that family unit around you, especially when you kind of like dote on it. But when I am feeling anxious, I like to go for walks in nature. I like to cook myself some meals. And I know that sounds really simple, and it's probably advice that you've all heard so many times, but I think I feel a lot of pressure on me all the time with my job and my audience. And I'm just this little gal from Scotland, 5'3", our own issues, our own aspirations. And I'm trying to give you advice, some girly advice, but I'm honestly still trying to figure out my shit as well. And that's me just being completely honest. So yeah, I have good and bad days, but when my anxiety hits really bad, I just try and ignore my brain. And I know that sounds like such stupid advice, but just try and stick to your guns. If you say you're going to do something, do it. I'm really bad at saying that, I'll meet up with a friend and then I brush them off, or I'm going to wake up and go to the gym and I don't. But I went for a swim last week, and to me that is such an achievement. I got really anxious when I was in the swimming pool, but Ben was there to hold my hand, which was great. Like, it sounds so silly, and you're probably going to be like, what the fuck? But like, even in the swimming pool, I'm doing lengths, and I'm so worried about like who's around me and what's going on. And like, there's a little, in David Lloyd, there's a little bit where you go into the sauna and the steam room, and I'm getting Ben to like walk right beside me and with me, just because I'm so para-Pete. And I'm like, Shannon, why the fuck are you so uptight? But yeah, just me being so transparent. So I think my goals for this year is to definitely stop being so hard on myself. And I get asked all the time, like, how do you stop comparing yourself to people? And that's one of the questions that someone asked me earlier. I put it on my socials, and it was like, how do you stop comparing yourself to others? And honestly, I don't think there's a right answer to that. I think it's human nature. I think it's how you compare yourself and how you speak to yourself. If you are nice to yourself and like your inner monologue with yourself is nice, then comparing yourself, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. Like I said, it's human nature, but you can't change who you are. Like, you're in your body, you are who you are. Of course, you can tweak things and you can always strive to be a better person, but like, if you're really unhappy with something in yourself, like that you physically can't change, like self-acceptance is one of the biggest things that I'm still trying to learn. But I think that's probably my best advice is, comparing yourself is human nature, but try not compare yourself too much. Like, I've stopped myself scrolling on Instagram. I don't really find myself checking anyone's feed, like looking at their life, because I just kind of look at social media and just kind of realize that honestly everyone is, and I don't mean fake, that's not what I'm trying to say, but everyone is just showing you what they want you to see. And it's not nothing that is, I'm saying stuff that you've never, like, you always hear, but it's so true. I've got a platform and it's my job, and I always stop myself going to brand events because I really don't like the energy there. You see people online that you think you really resonate with, and then you meet them and sometimes they're really rude, or they come off rude, and it can be anxiety, or it can be so many different factors. So I just don't put myself in situations that I know that I'm not going to thrive. I've stopped doing that. And that's, just like another big bit of advice. Like, I'm even bad for comparing myself to some people. But like I said, I've stopped scrolling, and I've just stopped kind of looking for like validation from others. I'm really aware of like my flaws. And one of my biggest insecurities was my teeth. And even now, like, it annoys me that I got them. It doesn't annoy me that I got them fixed, but like I had so many horrible comments about them, and I was already so self-conscious about them. All throughout high school, I had train tracks, and I had a retainer that stuck up in my inner mouth, like my upper there, I don't know what that's called, the roof of my mouth. And like I hated them, and then I got them off, and then I liked my teeth, but then I swear my dog ate my retainer. Anyway, lost my retainers, and then they all went to shit again. And then, yeah, I had so many people comment on my teeth, and I've got them fixed now. Well, I'm in the middle of getting them fixed, and I'm so much happier. But then you just find yourself picking on someone else. It's like, are we ever going to be content as humans? So, yeah, for you listening, please don't be too hard on yourself. Stop comparing yourself, even though it's so much easier said than done. Routine is a massive thing that I'm still trying to figure out. I had it and now I've lost it. So now I'm trying to figure it out again. And if you follow me on socials, you know that I'm in the middle of moving. So that's a major stress in my life at the minute. I've been so unhappy with where I've been living. And some of you asked me to speak about it on the pod. But yeah, I'm not going to say where I moved to, but I basically moved to like the deadest location ever. And it was away from my friends. If I wanted to go for dinner, like getting home was a nightmare. I would have to crash on the couch. Like it wasn't the world's biggest issue, but I just felt so isolated and alone. And especially after the year that I just had from the show, like just figuring my shit out and just feeling rubbish and the lowest that I've ever felt. It just added so much fuel to the fire. So we're in the middle of moving. I'm feeling so much more positive. I probably know that I just sound like a moody, negative bitch on this podcast and this series, and I don't mean it, but I'm just trying to let you kind of know how I'm feeling and where I'm at. And it's okay not to be okay sometimes. It's okay not to have your shit together, you know. You have to recharge. And I've went into this year not putting pressure on myself. As an influencer, I don't post half as much as I should. You know, this podcast is the only thing that I'm proud of at the minute. And I'm so glad I've created this little safe space. And I hope that you think it is a safe space, because if you're listening and you ever want to vent, you can always reach out to me. I'm all ears. And yeah, I don't post as much, and I'm not feeling the pressure to post as much. I'm posting what I want to post. And that's probably not beneficial for my job, but it's what I need, and it's what my brain needs, and it's what my body needs. So just remember, like, everything needs to recharge. You need to recharge. I need to recharge. Stop putting pressure on yourself about things that you can't change. And yeah, like, I can sit and talk about so many of my insecurities, but it's only going to make me feel more insecure. The main one was what I just told you, which was my teeth. And I think apart from that, I'm pretty content. I'm sure in a few weeks it'll change, or a month or a year it'll change. But at the minute, I'm feeling pretty content. And I'm just trying to focus on the positives. And I hope that you do too. Like, I feel like once you sit and reflection is a major thing. Sit and reflect, focus. If I can give any tips to kind of like coming back to yourself, if you're feeling a bit lost, is, you know, listen to your body. Like I've said, recharge. I like to go for walks. Like I said, cook. I also like to do vision boards. And I also like to do other things, which you guys know about from episode 2 or 3 from the podcast with Dr. Soul Surgeon. And that's not me telling you all to go and be crazy, but it's just find out what works for you and make sure that you have good people around you. I don't want to keep talking on about the show, but when you're exposed to something so fast and so quick, it really does show you who your friends are. And one of the main things that I will say, just to kind of like sum this all up, is make sure that your friends are a reflection. Make sure that your friends are a reflection of you. You know, if you've got a group of friends and you're constantly moaning about one of them, or there's one that you don't like, or there's a bad egg in the group, you shouldn't be surrounding your energy with them. Make sure your group of friends are like a reflection of you. And that's not saying that your friends have to be perfect, but if you find yourself bitching about people, which is something that I don't really tend to do, but if you do, we're human, just cut them off. Like sometimes you have to be a little bit selfish and cut people off that aren't really bringing any joy to your life. And the only thing that I really am content with now is my relationship with Ben. I'm so glad I've got that. My family, even though I'm not with them half as much as I want to be. And I could honestly like get emotional the fact that I'm not with my family, but it's my choice. And I'm just trying to do what I got to do to be where I want to be. And hopefully once I am at the stage of my life where I am where I want to be in my career, you know, I can live with my family again, which is one of my biggest goals. That's the only goal, is to like look after my family. But I've went from having a lot of friends to basically no friends. And if you're like, how have you got no friends? I don't mean literally that I've got no friends, but I would say I've got a lot of acquaintances now. I've got a lot of people that I party with, but friend-wise, I can count my really close friends on this hand. One of them is my best friend, Zan. I'm going to shout them out in the podcast because I love them. One of them is my best friend, Zan. Zan's 40 odd, not that it makes a difference, but we literally clicked from the minute that we met. I met him at a rave when I was 18, guys. And that's how me and Ben met, was through Zan, and he's probably the only constant friend in my life that I'll cherish forever. He's came up and spent time with us in Scotland. He's just always there for me and Ben, and always there for me, and I'm going to actually go and see him after this, so I hope he better cry when he listens to this back. But and I've got my best friend Ruby, and we don't see each other all the time. We used to be glued at the hip, but now we are just kind of doing our own shit, but we speak every day. And then I've obviously got my bestest friend, who's my mum. And then I've got loads of other friends. I don't want to name them. I feel like I probably shouldn't have done this because I've like fucked it a little bit. But they are definitely probably the two main constants in my life, and Maxine and Arie, definitely. But yeah, I'm blabbling on. I just wanted to sit down and just share my thoughts with you all, and I hope I've given you some good tips. I think mental health is probably the most important thing when it comes to looking after yourself. When you take a hit on your mental health, the rest of your life literally comes falling down. And my mental health's not bad, it's not great, it's kind of just stumbling on. And it really is true, like everything needs to charge, everything needs to recharge. Like we're all only human, but like I was speaking about conflict earlier, and I think it kind of like boils down to, again, it's like I really don't think that I should be a social media influencer. I don't think I'm cut out for it. I'm grateful for all of you, and I'm grateful for my platform, but sometimes I really do wake up in the morning, I'm like, fuck, is this actually what I'm supposed to be doing? Because one comment just sets me off. Like, I'm so sensitive, and it's like, you don't know me, like, why are you writing these things? But I guess it's just the internet, and you know, I'm trying not to be an advocate so much for OnlyFans because, again, it's conflict. Like, I'm on the platform, but I think it's probably just because I earn great money on there. And I think a lot of people get confused. I had someone ask me earlier, like, about intimacy with having an OnlyFans, like sex and intimacy the same. And I think a lot of people actually think that I do like sex and stuff on my OnlyFans, and I don't at all. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but yeah, like OnlyFans is something else that I'm in conflict because I'm trying to prove that it's okay to do, but at the same time, I still feel shame from it from certain people. So yeah, this is literally just me like spieling to you guys and just kind of, I don't even know at this stage. I'm going to have a drink because I fucking need it. And I had 2 glasses of red wine before I even came here. But I've spilt it. This is my life, guys. But yeah, I think if you're listening to this, I just hope you know that I am really grateful for you. And I hope I've given some good advice. I don't really know what else to give advice on because I'm honestly just still trying to figure it out. But yeah, me as a person, I'm very sensitive. I give my all to people, and I let people's opinions affect me way too much, and that's something that I'm going to work on in 2023. I'm going to get back to being happy back, and it's not that I'm not happy, but I think just back to being a bit more carefree. That's probably my main goal, and get back into my fitness and just feel more like myself a little bit. Honestly, I feel like the past couple of years, like since the show, has kind of been like a really weird out of body experience for me, and me just trying to figure out my shit and what I want to do with my life, where I'm going, all these conflicts. And I feel like I'm now at a place where I can talk to you all about mental health and anxiety and my struggles with it, and just how to deal with them, really. But I think if you have insecurities and if you are going through something, just know that you're loved, and, every day is a new day, and every day is also a school day. Like, you're allowed to make mistakes, you're allowed to be figuring out who you are and what you want from life. And if you are one of these people that are really insecure, like, you can't go and look for validation from others. You have to start loving yourself. And that is probably just my biggest message to you, really. And life is a wonderful thing. I feel like this has been so doom and gloomy, and I don't want it to be. Like, there's so many positives. And like, I love this podcast. I'm loving where I'm going in my career. I'm starting to feel a little bit more self-sure and, again, self-aware. Like, if I go back to like last year, I was so focused on having like a big fat ass, and I was like so focused on all of these like irrelevant things. And it's like, now I'm just focused on being the best version of myself, waking up feeling good. Health is wealth. And I just want 2023 to be my year and your year. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you ever want to reach out to me, honestly, you're more than welcome to always reach out over Instagram, wherever you can find me. But I'm human. I don't know what I'm like in third person to people on the internet. I'd love to know. But like I said, I'm just this little Scottish gal trying to make our dreams come true, trying to pave a way in this world. And if you're feeling lost, you're not the only one. But this year is going to bring us great things. A good little quick tip to give you is journaling saves your life. I journal every single day. I wake up, I write my thoughts, I write how I'm feeling, and I do it before bed, and it's the best thing ever. Just try and implement little things into your routine that are going to make you feel good. Like, for me, it's ginger shots, journaling, and just trying to get to bed early. Next, my goals are going to be grow this podcast and get back to my workout routine, and just be more kind and gentle to myself. And again, inner monologue, just be more kind to how I speak to myself, rather than, getting consumed in my own thoughts. Because thoughts are that. They are just thoughts. When you come across confident people, it is such a great thing to experience. But confidence is also something that a lot of people struggle with. I even struggle with it. I have good days, I have bad days like everyone else. But confidence is key. Not being cocky, but definitely a little bit of confidence. Like I said, you can't change who you are. You can just embrace who you are, accept that everyone is different, and what's for you won't go by you. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this basic therapy session. And like I said, I'm here always. And if you really did enjoy this episode, let me know, because I'll do more. Again, it's like a written entry into my diary that you probably should never have heard or read, but I hope that you guys enjoyed. And I'm just me. I spilled my drink in this episode, and that just kind of honestly sums up my life at this point. But yeah, I appreciate you all, and I will see you in next week's episode.